Hi, my name's Todd Campbell. Welcome to episode 5 of Todd Campbell's World, my weekly podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the DM10, the Alesis DMPro. It's an electronic drum kit that it's kind of a budget kit, but it's very useful and very professional sounding, very easy to play. Just to get you a little bit familiar with what some things sound like, right now I just have a default kit loaded up. Right, so it's pretty basic sounding, not bad sounding drums at all, very playable pads. So you get the idea, you know, in terms of what the thing can do and how it can play. It plays really well. But what's cool about this kit, you don't have to necessarily just play the drums. It doesn't. The snare drum doesn't have to sound like a snare drum. The toms don't have to sound like toms. The hi-hat doesn't have to sound like a hi-hat. So for example, right now I just changed the setting on the brain for the DM10, and I don't have a snare drum sound anymore. I have this. More of an udu, a ceramic drum sample, and it's a multi-zone pad, so I have about 3 different sounds coming out of this particular pad. Snare drum on the rim if I want it. And my pads on the toms have changed as well, so I've got a couple of different sounds here, and these are all dual zones, so they're 2 different things. Okay. So for example, now I have a little bit of a different sound. So you get the idea there of how, you know, the thing just doesn't necessarily have to sound like, quote-unquote, a drum set. If I pull up another patch, you start to get a little bit of a rototom type of sound with some chord samples underneath. You know, so that's kind of useful. What's really cool, too, the DM10 and the way the pads are set up are connected into the rest of my studio. So if I wanted to trigger, for example, the SY77 synthesizer with the drums, I can. So right now I have a chordal thing called up on the SY77, so I've got this now. So if I bring the drums in underneath that, it's a little bit of a different sound. So what's really cool about this whole setup is it's versatile, and you can, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can have any sound you want under your hands, which is a really cool thing to think about. What I'd like to finish this podcast with today is just to play a little bit. I'm going to cycle through a couple of different sounds for you so you can hear how these things do. I'm going to pop off camera real quick and turn up my SY77 so we can kind of hear it a little better. And now we're going to play some. Thanks for checking out this week's podcast. I hope you check out next week's podcast when we'll move into some of the synthesizers in the studio. We'll be talking about FM synthesis and the Moog synthesizer, in particular the Mono Moog, or the Micro Moog, whichever we decide. I'll see you soon. Thanks.